But it's also that thing where 400 years later, the justice and the fight for freedom that was Braveheart is the same as the fight for freedom and the fight for justice that is Last of the Mohicans, because it's the female character who says to her dad, what Nathaniel said is true. Like what Daniel Day-Lewis, his character Nathaniel, said is true. And you can't put him in jail. He shouldn't be in jail right now. You put him in jail. Why did you put him in jail for sedition? Because what he said is true. He's like protecting the families, because we saw their best pals' like farm was totally fucking destroyed. The women and children were killed. And if that is what was happening, they had signed, the militia, like the civilian militia, had signed a treaty with Webb earlier than this, saying if we sign up, that's fine, we will sign up. But we're not fucking going unless you guys let us leave in the event that the French start fucking killing our wives and children and protect our farms. You know what I mean? Like, this is the civilians, that's their land. And it's totally obvious. And Glaswegian dad Monroe is like, no, it's still sedition because he's basically a deserter. So whatever the fuck doesn't matter what his ideas are, or if anybody's being killed, like, he's a deserter. And, you know, we have to like think about, it's kind of like his need to beat the French. Monroe's need to beat the French is more important and like more of an obsessive like warmongering feel than you would ever expect from somebody's dad. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's her dad, it's Cora's dad. And she's just having to say, if Daniel Day-Lewis is guilty of sedition, then I'm guilty of it too. And that's when they're all just like, oh fuck, you know, because she's right. Like, it's usually the women. It's women historically usually that come in and just speak the truth and fucking drop the mic. And you're just like, oh my God, that is actually accurate. And therefore, what the fuck are they going to do? Because they're wrong. That happens so many times where the people get something happens to the people that's unjust. The people rise up and say, yo, this is unjust. Are you going to help us? And then usually whoever's in power says, no, we're not going to help you. And then they have to kind of like deal with it by themselves, or then it's tyrannical. And you're like, oh my fucking God, you know, this is what happens in these situations. But a similar thing happens in Braveheart, where you go, they're fighting for freedom, for Scottish, for the ability of the Scots to just live free. And it is in that era where they wrote the Declaration of Arbroath that says, you know, we're fighting for freedom. It's not for riches. This is so Scottish. The Declaration of Arbroath, it says it's not for riches that we fight, but for freedom itself. It's so beautiful and therefore true. And also, the rules of war are such that if you have a militia that's civilian, you should be like, yo, you guys can leave any fucking time, you know what I mean? Don't feel forced to fight a battle that's not yours, when you have to be thinking about your wife and kids and your farm. Like, run away and go save them so that nobody hurts them and they're not casualties of war like all the other people that Cora fucking saw on the way and Nathaniel saw on the way to Fort William. It's totally insane. And that's the part that makes you cry, where you just feel like, oh my God. It gives you the heebie-jeebies.